Hi, I'm Helen and I've had the pleasure of working with Kuretake products for over 10 years now. The quality is second to none, and we're going to show you a few techniques of how to use these pens alongside the wonderful Lavinia products. So I want to start off with showing you Clean Colour. So they are a water-based ink, and that means that we can create shades and blending so much easier than perhaps an alcohol marker, which are quite scary, and you need a lot of the alcohol markers to be able to blend. With these, just 2 pens and you can get an absolutely wonderful effect. For example, red and yellow. You'd never normally be able to blend red and yellow together without having all the oranges in between to be able to get from one to the other. But with these ones you certainly can. Now I'm using the Lavinia watercolour paper, which is wonderful, and it works with all different types of mediums, not only the Clean Colour, but it really gives you a really good finish. Taking a red, we'll just colour a little bit. Take the yellow, go into the red, and you can see that we can drag that red all the way through the spectrum, all the way down to the yellow, giving you the most beautiful sunset effect. And this would work with any of the pens. You can use yellow and blue, yellow and green, pink and purple. Literally any of the colours will blend together. If you have anything left on your pen, a quick wipe on a little bit of tissue and it goes back to being clean again. And it's very, very hard to ruin these pens. I've left black on a yellow and left it in my craft room for months on end, and it's still wiped off and been back to clean again. They also last a really long time because the ink is designed to sit on the surface with the gliding of the brush. You don't use too much ink either, so that's great. The other thing you can use with these is the water brushes. Now our water brushes come in a set of 4 with 4 different nibs, depending on how intricate you want to be or if you want to make a background. And the uniqueness of these is the fact that the water doesn't just come out, it comes out very, very slowly, so it doesn't drip. If you do want it to come out a bit faster, you can just give it a quick squeeze and it will come out a lot heavier. So you have more control. I'm really not good with the paintbrush and water because I end up knocking the water over every time. Whereas with these, I can also travel and I can craft on the go. So it's a lot more useful. So let me show you how these work. Again, if we put just a little bit of colour on this card, we can take the water and we can water blend with it, and that gives us a nice pastel effect, or can really tone down the colours if you want it to be a little bit more muted. Let's wipe that off. But one of my favourite items to work with Clean Colour is the Wink of Stella. This is a clear pigment ink with glitter in it. It blends with all the colours, so if you can imagine having all of these colours, you can have them matte, which is how they would come out, but I can also have every single one of these sparkly if I want to. So it's really nice to have the choice. Again, just a small piece of the colour, and then the clear ink, I can blend it down. Again, just wipe it on a little bit of tissue and it goes back to being clear again. Now, you might not be able to see the sparkle straight away because after about 5 minutes, once the ink has dried, you will see that glorious sparkle. So here's some I did about 5 minutes ago, and I'm hoping you're going to be able to catch it in the light. So all of those fairy stamps that you just want to add that little touch of sparkle, little touch of magic, this is the pen for you. You can get refills for them now. You never used to be able to, but you can now, which is wonderful. I did promise I'd show you the sets. So 90 was the biggest that used to be available in the UK. And then we have set A, B and C. I also get asked how to store my pens. Do they need to be upright? Do they need to be horizontal? And with these, it really doesn't matter. You can store them however you would prefer, in a pot, in the boxes. They come standing upwards so that the colour is on the base. But I find it a lot easier to turn them upside down. So when I open my packs, I can see exactly which the colours are and grab the ones that I want. So this is set A, and this has some gorgeous muted tones, greens, mulberries, purples, blues, really nice earth tones. So that is set A. There are no repeats, so if you've bought the 90 set in the past, you will not get any of these new sets duplicated, which is really wonderful. This is set B. This one is wonderful for all those under the sea stamps that Lavinia does. All those mermaids, absolutely gorgeous colours. And then this is set C. I haven't turned these upside down yet. So these ones are all the reds, oranges, yellows. There's some pinks in there. But like I say, no duplicates. So they are a lovely add-on if you have clean colour have bought them in the past. So let's colour an image. I'm going to need the glasses, unfortunately. And I'm using, this is set A, because I absolutely adore these colours. And I thought they would work really, really well with this stamp. So I've coloured half of it to kind of get us started. And I'm working on the basis that this is going to be a lot lighter, because this is going to be underneath, you know, from the dark sea underneath, going up to the light of the sun shining on the ocean. So I'm going to turn it round, because I like to start with the dark and work to the light. And I've chosen 3 colours: red grape, shadow pink and blossom pink, and I like to hold them in order, so I know that my dark goes to my light, but you'll all find your own way of doing things. And if you want to just test it on a bit of paper, just to make sure that you're happy with the colours that you're using. And I'm going to start with the dark, and I'm only doing small sections at a time, because you know the ink will dry eventually into the paper, and if I do small sections I can make sure I'm happy before I move on. And it's always good to have a really light one in whichever range of colours you're doing, because then you can really get that grade from light to dark. Obviously we're using colours that blend normally together with this, but only 3 colours. I could have probably got away with 2 because they blend so great together. If you decide you haven't done enough dark, or you want to add a little bit more, that's not a problem. We can go back over. We can add a little bit more colour and blend it in. Because they're water based, you do have lots of time. Bit of the medium colour there. And then we'll blend it all together using the light. Again, anything left on your pen, quick wipe on a bit of tissue and it's gone back to being clean again. The beauty of these pens is the nib. You've got this ability to be able to do really fine lines, should you so wish, and you can press on heavier, and if you're doing a background, obviously you can press on much heavier. There's no problem with you putting it on a glass mat or a tile and then transferring the ink. If you want to do like that, you can mix lots of colours together and then use that as your palette. There is no right or wrong with these. You can be as creative as you want to be. I'm going to carry on and do the other side of this. Just do a couple of pieces and blend them in. I like to mix it up a bit, do some with 3 colours, some with 2, some with 1. And as we get down to the bottom of this one, we will just start using the lighter colour, just to show the depth. And you can hear that there's no scratchiness at all, because they're just gliding on the paper with these lovely nibs. Actually, one thing to mention, if you're not using really nice watercolour card like this is, sometimes you want to colour something that's pre-stamped, or you want to print on your home printer and you can't do that if on watercolour card. I know it won't go through my printer, so you might want to use cheaper paper. This is just photocopier paper, and generally it's a bit of a no-no to try and colour on photocopier paper. However, with these pens you can do them direct, so I can put the dark directly onto the light colour, so it's kind of pre-blended, and then I can still get a really, really nice effect even on photocopier paper. So that's a really good tip for you. Also, if for example you've let it dry, it's gone a little bit too far and you've had some dark there and you haven't blended it slightly, do the same thing again. Put a little bit of dark on the light and then go back into your design, and you can kind of blend it a lot easier and correct if you've got any stubborn lines that you haven't quite blended out. I'll wipe that on a bit of tissue. I will finish this one off a bit later, but one thing I would have to add to this is some sparkle. So I'm going to add the Wink of Stella Clear. Let's get rid of the red from previous. Let's make sure we're flowing. And I'm just going to add it to the top. Now obviously you can use glitter and you can use glue. This is so much faster. It gives a much nicer effect. It's not clumpy in any way. And that just shows the sunlight coming through the top of the ocean and adds that beautiful touch of sparkle. Hopefully you can catch that. There we go. Brilliant product to use. Really impressed this year. They also launched something that we've been asking for a really long time, and you can actually buy the Wink of Stella in liquid form. So for all you mixed media fans out there, imagine what you can do with liquid glitter. It's absolutely fabulous. It comes in a really gorgeous little glass pot, and it's coming in, I won't open it, it comes in 3 different colours here at Lavinia, and you can have gold, silver and that clear sparkle. So a really, really, really nice product. I'm going to colour some more images because I love these stamps and I love these pens.